Hi everyone, Kimberly here. I've been gone for a while, from YouTube, and yeah, I'm just very new at this, and I don't really have any topics to talk about. Just I would like some of the people if I get some more followers or the people I currently have following me, ask me questions about I would like to say about I did talk to somebody from Poland, and this is a follower. And it took me a while to figure out what to say about the situation over there in Poland. And yeah, the situation in Poland is not good for trans people or LGBTQ people in general. Their leader is not very lenient on people like us. And it broke my heart to see how bad this person is. That this person is living in this, what I essentially equate to a dictatorship. It's fascism. It's hateful. And I thought we were over this. I thought after the war, World War II, and what happened and the atrocities that happened, that Europe would be done with this stuff. And it's not. And it's even happening here in the United States. We claim to be a free and open country. And it's not for some of us. Some of us are still being prosecuted, for being who we are, for who we were born, and that's unacceptable. We shouldn't have to live in fear of our lives, And this election was basically a referendum on those people, because of the hate and the torments that we've been going through. We've been tormented, as a people. You know, I'm a transgender woman, and I'm not trying to hide that fact. I don't want to hide that fact because it's a part of me, and it always will be, and I embrace it. You know, I didn't choose to be this way, and none of us did. You know, we were all born this way, and there's no way I want to go back to the way I was, because to go back to that dark, depressing way would be death for me, and if anybody else who's in the community, it would be death for us, because this leads to depression, which leads to death. And if we're going to claim to be an open and free society, we're not living up to that obligation. We are felon. We're hypocrites. That's short and simple. As a people, as a civilization, we're hypocrites. And for parents who basically, they have kids, okay? They say they'll love their kids no matter what. And then when they come out as LGBTQ, and the parents are like, oh, I don't want anything to do with you. How can you say you love your kids unconditionally and then destroy them later on when they tell you something about themselves, that they want to be themselves and not be ridiculed. And that's unacceptable. We shouldn't be putting people in those situations. Those people are they're going homeless. They're committing suicide. They have massive drug addictions, and I have to see this on a daily basis on a lot of postings, and some of us are being abused. We're being abused because a lot of us are homeless, are on substances, are getting with the wrong crowds because there was no support for people like us, because our families threw us out. I was the lucky one where my family has accepted me for who I am. I've always been this way, and I've been this way since I was 3. And It took me until I was in my 30s to come out. So for 20 years when I was going through puberty, I was getting more and more depressed because I never identified as a boy. And I could never do that. I couldn't live up to the expectations of that. And I never will. Because that's not who I am, and that's not how I was born. That's not how God made me. You know, that's not how my biology works. You know, and everybody's different. Everybody has different experiences, and I've had several different experiences. I've been bullied for being too feminine going through school. I've been punished for basically wearing my mother's clothes or makeup or something. None of that, my parents have changed, and I get along with them really good. They've accepted who I am. People can change. We just have to be willing to work with these people a little bit. We have to meet people halfway too. We can't just be stuck in this endless loop of blaming people. We can change. People can change. And if people can't change, then what kind of society do we really live in? If we can't accept people change. We always talk about second chances and rehabilitation and giving people who are basically been outcast by society due to something that happened to them in their life. These people that have hatred, they've had things go on in their lives that made them that way. But the only choice I made was not to lie about who I am anymore. The only choice I made was lying to myself and to everybody else and hoping that would fix the problem. But it didn't fix the problem. And it never will. Transition and help me. Do I have good days and bad days? Yes, because I have female emotions, and I've always had these emotions. It's just now I'm out in the open about it, and I don't want to hide anymore about myself. And the world needs to wake up. There are people dying because of this, and people being prosecuted because of us. Because of being who we are. We need to accept that fact, but we also need to meet people halfway. Somebody doesn't choose to hate because they were born that way. People weren't born to hate. They were made that way. And I've heard stories of basically former Nazi members and all that, who have been part of the party and all that, who are no longer a part of that party, and they reformed, and are people that were part of hate groups, and they basically reformed, because they saw the errors of their ways. They saw what the actions that we're doing. They looked at it like this. It's like, why? What's the use in fighting anymore? For me, that is the way, one issue I look at. What is the use in fighting anymore for anybody to fight anymore? What are we fighting over? Territory? Ideology? What's the point? We've been fighting for over 100,000 years, ever since human civilizations existed. We reached a level of technology that no other civilization has ever reached in human history. And we're still fighting. What is the point in fighting? All we're doing is wasting our resources and money and lives. We're fighting wars for no reason. There's enough land for everybody. There's enough resources to go around. Why are we fighting over borders? You know, we all bleed the same blood. You know, we all have the same organs. You know, we all breathe the same air. We all drink the same water. You know, we eat the same foods. You know, we all tuck our children in the bed. You know, we all love each other. You know, we have a lot in common, more than we think. And for our leaders to say, well, you were fighting for your country, they're basically telling the poor to fight wars for the rich. That's basically it. You know, you're fighting a war for rich people. And that's not acceptable. You know, the poor fight for the rich, and the poor get no benefits out of it. You know, what is nationality anyway? You know, why can't we just be part of this planet? You know, why can't our nationality be just human, or Earth? You know, or Terran? You know, why are we fighting? Why are we hating each other? You know, all this stuff is redundant. You know, we should be doing other things like making medical breakthroughs, or trying to solve the obesity problems, or cancer in children, you know, or the aging process, or anything that like has to do with mental acuity. You know, we should be doing stuff that is scientific and engineering, like building infrastructure. Do we really need more aircraft carriers, or more aircraft, or more soldiers? We need more workers and engineers to work on roads and water systems and electrical grids. You know, we're spending tons of money on this, and that's not acceptable by me. You know, or that shouldn't be acceptable by anybody, really. You know, why are we still fighting the status quo? Why are we still in the status quo? You know, we should change. We should all be willing to change. You know, we should all be willing to better ourselves and stop the hatred. Because we weren't born to hate. We were born to be who we are. And that's my closing line. And if anybody has any questions, just feel free to drop me a line. You know, I'll try to answer it in my next videos, or, you know, whatever. So, I love everybody, and like, I want peace around the world. That's one of my wishes. So, thank you for joining me, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye. Thank you.